Hey, Happy New Year. How are you? So, I woke up last night. I was inspired into something amazing. A process that I'm going to call New Year, Near You, making the changes. So, to begin that, I'm going to do a series of lives over the next coming days that are just going to bring conscious awareness to stuff that might be hiding in your subconscious mind and causing your failures, your need to continually live in failure, in self-sabotage, etc. So the first one is basically what I said in my comment, is how many are self-sabotaging unconsciously to keep themselves down, unaware, angry in a program. And this behavior is programmed since birth. Our parents did it, and society, news, programming, communities, other people are all doing it. So we believe that that's the normal way. Creating a victim consciousness that we're not even aware of, because most wouldn't understand that, but giving their power to darkness, to evil, to the media, to the cabal, to whatever, saying that they're causing my outcomes to be bad. Well, I'm going to put it simply this way, and we'll come back to it. The outcomes are only bad if you believe that they can be bad. No other energy, no program, Illuminati, external facet, news, or whatever is going to create our negative outcome unless we believe that that negative outcome is possible. Because we're inherently creator beings. We are beings that are creating from love and light and from positivity, but due to our trauma, our programming, the stuff that happened to us at birth, up until the year 7 years old, we were taking on programming from our parents. And if our parents were negative, taught you that money doesn't grow on trees, and love is hard, and relationships are hard, and life is hell, you're likely on that path. And it's a well-worn path for you. And if you're in your 40s, 50s, etc., had a divorce, had a business failure, these are all things that I've been through, you're probably in a negative mindset. You're thinking that the universe is attacking you, everything's not working out. But in hindsight, having gone through many of these things actually close off all our distractions, which is a job, work, our family, our kids sometimes, etc., and they go away. And in the end, it all happened for a reason. Now, what do I mean by self-sabotage? So self-sabotage is creating your outcome unconsciously. Well, unconscious self-sabotage is unconsciously, but it's using words that are likely to cause outcome, but you're not consciously using them. You're saying them like you go on a date and you're asking for sex on the first date because you're in lack and you need sex, or you go to the car dealership and you're trying to get a new car and trying to get that loan or whatever you're trying to do, and oh, my credit's not good, oh, I don't think it's possible, or whatever. Well, the likelihood that you're going to get something that aligns with you, if you don't believe that that thing is for you, or that you're not worthy of it, or whatever, you will put words in the middle, you'll negate things, you'll cast spells through your own words that you'll say about yourself, and it will predestine you to something that's probably not what you want, but just builds on your victim mentality that the world's attacking me and things aren't working out and things aren't going well. I saw it yesterday. I was doing work with a young woman, and she would constantly, I'd say, like, what do you do? What's amazing about you? And she would self-deprecate. She would basically turn it into something that it's not, Drivers driving way under the speed limit with their four-way flashers on because they don't have winter tires on. Jesus. It drives me nuts. An old guy just hunched over the steering wheel, terrified. So, maybe I created that. I'm going to have to look at that. So, we do this all the time because it's like, I'll speak from my experience, and the only reason I can speak about these things and help others through them is I've been through them deeply in my life. I'm still in the claws of programming around relationship and woman hurting me and being heartless and other things. And you can look back at some of my lives, and I'm consciously working through this stuff right now because I have a story inside of me, because I had a wounded mother and programs early in life where a woman took advantage of me, they were narcissistic, etc. I expect that in all women, but most women don't have that. But the women that I draw and vibrationally attract into my life have that, because that's what I expect. So I unconsciously repel the very women that I'm ready and worthy for, because that's subconscious mind shooting things down or saying things that make the worthy women think twice, or just basically kind of messing myself up. And once I can see that, I can start to make change, and I can say, ooh, I'm saying that thing, and then be consciously aware of each word I choose in discussions with that person, in the relationship I create, in the forwardness and the direction conversations take. So how do you become consciously aware of what you're subconsciously doing? Well, that's really hard to do unless you want to go through it, and you really want to self-examine all the time, and you really want to kind of put yourself under the microscope all day long. But what if I told you, when I'm talking about new year, new you, I'm talking about sitting down with people, because I'm very good at this. I'm consciously aware of all these things that happen to me, which has kind of trained me in a way that no other university course or coaching program or whatever. And I don't like to call it a coaching program, because ultimately you're the only one that's going to be able to make the choices for you that change your life. And a coach is just somebody cheering you on from the sidelines. I prefer to be somebody that makes you aware of your subconscious habits, your subconscious beliefs, your words, your actions, and become like a friend, an accountability partner, somebody that in the first stage or whatever, we sit down, have a short free consultation just to see if you're on the path and what you want. And if that works, we dedicate ourselves to 1 hour discussions. And I don't even like to call them sessions, because really it's just to chat about what's going on in your world. If you're going to go for that 1 hour session, you're going to fill out a little sheet beforehand that tells me your story and what you're struggling with and other stuff, so we can get it clear what you're struggling with. And then when we sit down, and this is something I'm very good at, I know stuff about people. I know how they're lying to themselves. I can see it. It almost comes out of their mouth, their words, their reflection of themselves, and they'll shoulda, coulda, woulda, use words like that basically defer their power and make it the responsibility of the universe of someone else, which is a hidden victim consciousness, that somebody's causing this and the world's an evil place or whatever, which is all the program that we've been through, and that somebody's going to come and save us, when really that's not going to happen. You're not being saved, you're going to save yourself. You are here to surround yourself with people that can hold you in confidence, in light, and in your truth, so that you can begin to make change in yourself. So how many people do you have in your world that you trust, that you would call a friend, that you would call somebody that you can trust your darkest vulnerability to, etc. Not that I need to see your darkest vulnerability, but if you're hurting, the best thing that we can ever do is talk together about what you're hurting and find your story and find your program. And then how beautiful would this be to you if somebody, in not trying to please you or not trying to coach you or not trying to do anything to you, would just point out when your words were self-deprecating or self-sabotaging and call it out in a discussion and maybe trigger you in a very good way to realize that you have a part in everything that you've created, all the stuff that's going on, and it can at least reflect for you in loving words and in grace to let you see yourself. Really, literally, the new year, new you. So you don't know where you're doing this stuff. You don't know where the program, where the software is, where the stuff is. I just simply give you access to someone for a reasonable price, because my time's worth something, just like your time's worth something. And I'm not there to basically fluff you up or basically tell you what you want to hear and how amazing you are and all this kind of stuff, even though you are amazing, but to make you feel positive about something when you're hurting is not compassion. That's actually causing pain. So we'll talk about your stuff. We'll talk about your marriage, your divorce, your lovers, your kids, your whatever, what your mom and dad are doing to you or whatever. And it's the most amazing thing, because everything that somebody needs to cover will show up in their words, and they won't even know it, and I'll bring it back to them, reflect it for them, and if I have their permission, I'll work with their higher self to give you the tools that you need to see yourself, which is the greatest gift anybody could ever give someone. I don't want to inflate you up and be validated by your successes and all this kind of stuff. I just want you to not go through the hell that I went through in figuring this stuff out. And it's not about the number of sessions. It's not about, here, you got to complete my program and all this kind of stuff. I am one-on-one with you, holding your hand, available to talk with you, and in the soup with you at the time. Hey, phone me up and say, oh, I'm having an anxiety attack. I don't know what's going on. I am so freaked out. My mother just said this thing and I don't know what to do. What kind of value would that support be? And that's what I offer. In the moment, in the energy, to be able to sit and get you to breathe, calm down, maybe use a little breath work, whatever you need to basically walk through it. But in the moment, and maybe you're hiding in the bedroom and you're at family supper and mom just said this thing and I'm freaking out and going sideways. I'm going to calm you down. I'm going to ground you and give you the tools to be able to do that again, and then help you. I can't do it for you, but give you maybe the words that need to be said to break down the energies of what's going on, so that you're no longer affected by it. You're no longer triggered by it, and we can process the energy quickly, and then you can move on and rise above it, and maybe set a boundary and other things. And this doesn't even happen in the moment. This is stuff that's discussed in a session, because you've been unknowingly victimized by the pains and sufferings of the victim in the people around you, parents, spouses, bosses, etc. And they don't even know what they're doing. They're just spraying their discontent around on the world and hoping you'll line up with them. I'm a grounding influence. I basically will ground you, we'll talk, even listen to the tone of my voice, the cadence of my voice. It's all built into how I converse with a person to get them back into their body. And then once you're in your body, you can start making decisions that serve you, and isn't about pleasing our parents and pleasing our spouses and running around and making sure our kids have the best life, but be exhausted because you're a soccer coach and a dance teacher and all these things. ultimately, I'm just getting you back into conscious awareness of what's your whys. And once we know what your whys are and why it's triggering or whatever, then you can make change. But how are you going to do this? I can't give you a program and say, hey, all the angels are just going to help you, and which they will. But if you don't know what to ask for and you don't know why you're in a program and why you're lost, the likelihood of a good outcome is going to be low. If your vibration is low, we can basically get your vibration up during a call and working with you, and basically ground you at that point, and then make some declarations of intention. My intention is to clear this. My intention is for stuff to come up that's hard, that's uncomfortable, that's going to force me to choose myself, be self-loving in a situation. A mother getting angry, a kid getting angry, somebody projecting on you, whatever. It comes up in so many different ways. But until we can see the way the universe and the world is consciously nudging us towards an outcome, and then see it as the universe is actually helping us and not basically siding with the devil or siding with the darkness, you don't know where to put your impact, where to put your words, where you're maybe negating yourself in your words. Oh, I'm going to have a really good year, I sure hope. Well, no, cancel. I'm going to have a really good year. And I am. And I'm filling my year with abundance and people that are willing to do the work and need some help and are willing to accept that help and are not going to run and hide and go in the bedroom or be on a New Year's kick where you're basically go to the gym for the first 2 weeks and then it gets too hard and then you run away. No, my intention is to nudge you and to motivate you on a regular basis. Once you come and work with me, I'll send you an awakening point every day. I plan to do that once I have a mailing list and a bunch of people, something that will allow people to kind of self-reflect on that thing. And then when stuff shows up and it's like, ooh, that thing you told me is really happening, I don't know how to look at it or whatever, then we sit down and we talk about it. And if you're completely able to do it yourself, or you can't afford to spend some time with me or whatever, then it gives you the nudges you need. Who does that right now? It's needed right now. We need to be able to see ourselves, self-reflect, and start to see everything that's happening to us as not an attack, but a conscious exploration of self and the nudges we need to lean into and be the change. So I bet you 10 to 1 you're self-sabotaging. Consider it. And it's going to be the hardest thing that you're ever going to look at, and it's going to make you want to vomit because, geez, I'm implicit in my own pain and suffering. I'll guarantee you are. And if you don't believe you are, spend a little bit of time with me in a consultation and we'll talk about it, and I will potentially turn your beliefs on their ear, because the beliefs are the very things that trap us into inaction, trap us into believing that this is all we can expect. It's a story that we're saying in our head, and it's our ego has basically hemmed us into a corner to not allow flow and ease and grace and the creation energy. Ego stands for edge God out. It's basically what separates us and creates us in duality and does not allow us to experience source flow in all of the things we do. It basically keeps shitting on us until we're not successful, and then we've proven it by all these non-successful things. So, new year, new you. Do you want to be a new you? Do you want to go to the gym, or do you want to kind of work it? I'll tell you this right now. I've lost probably 80 pounds in the last 3 years of my life just from loving myself and changing my mindset, staying in positivity, not staying in depressed, not binge eating, not all this kind of stuff. Until you work on your mind, no matter how much you work on your body and all this kind of stuff, it'll give you little highs and make you feel like you're meditating and feeling good. But until you've worked on your mind, until you've worked on your program and your software, you're just going to keep falling back into that hole. How many times have you consciously went to the gym and then it didn't work out and then you got tired and exhausted and gave up? Sadly, it happens more often than you might think. So I'm here to support you. I am so amazingly equipped with intuition, with awareness. When anybody that has ever worked with me, just like, holy cow, how did you know? How did that, you know, to say that at that point or whatever? Because I am consciously channeling your higher self, using every facet of my being, every bit of my knowledge, tons and tons of past life knowledge, to get you the quickest, most life-affirming outcome for you, because you deserve it. And that's my role here on this planet. So look for it. There'll be a post coming up in the next couple days about the programs and the offerings, and I'm in the process of putting my booking website together to align with it, and you'll be able to go on there, you'll be able to book a session on my calendar, and we'll make this happen, because the only person that's going to change you is you. And the only person that's going to be able to do that is to be the person that leans into all the shit and all the discomfort and all the stuff that has programmed you into being who you are. And if you consider yourself broken, or things aren't working out, or hell, or you're going through every day, well, more than likely you're creating that. More than likely it's happening because of you and what's going on. Sorry, tried to find parking. And my job is to shine back on you, show you what you're creating unconsciously, and give you the tools, breathwork sessions, mindset preparations, etc., to get through it and recover and be the most amazing you. Because that's the biggest gift, that's the biggest outcome that I want for you, is to get you back on track, consciously aware of what you're doing, what you're creating, so that you can have an amazing life. I love you. And I truly mean that. I love you. And I will tell you stuff directly that may be uncomfortable, because I love you. And that's the way it works. This is the way it needs to happen. So I love you. Consider it. Go look at self-sabotage in you, and you'll be surprised. Thank you. Have a good day. You got this. Bye.